Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, our cybersecurity expert, Ira Victor, joins us here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Carson City. We are always pleased to welcome back to the program Ira Victor. He is Chief Forensic Analyst with DiscoveryTechnician.com. So, it seems to me that as every day goes by, privacy is completely gone, security seems to be gone. I get emails constantly that look like they are legit from my bank, from all these different internet companies, and they're all bogus. I have very little hair left. I'm tearing out whatever else I've got. What's a person to do?
Well, so you don't want to make the perfect the enemy of the good. So there are measures that people can take, businesses that we can take to fight cybercrime and cybercriminals. It's definitely going up. So your anecdotal experience is brought out by researchers. So we're seeing, for example, in the last year, businesses, organizations, about $50 million of revenue or less. Some of the most serious cybercrime against them has doubled in the last year. So your anecdotal experience is absolutely correct, Sam. But there are measures that we can take to reduce the threat. You can't make it zero. You can't bring it down to zero. Right, that's not realistic.
Right.
But there are measures you can take. I don't think the attitude of shrugging your shoulders and saying, well, you know, I've had my bank has been breached, or my cell phone company, as I come on the air today, there's been yet another breach at T-Mobile. You just don't, I think shrugging your shoulders and saying there's nothing we can do, and so just throw caution to the wind. I think that throwing the towel in is giving the cyber criminals too much credit. They're depending, by and large, the cyber criminals are still depending upon businesses and individuals not taking good measures to protect their security and privacy.
Is the two-factor authentication working?
So it does work. That's a great question. I've been in I've got a little more hair than you, but it's as gray as yours. So I've been around a while, been around the block. Every so many years, there's some company that has some technology equipment, and everybody thinks that it's the talisman, it's the gold ring. It's, like in Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's the Ark of the Covenant. It's going to solve all of our problems. The rays of light will emit. This is not an equipment issue. This is primarily about process. Now, does two-factor authentication help you? Yes, when it's part of a process of protecting your privacy and security. But just using two-factor authentication isn't enough. For example, some of the data that was stolen in the latest T-Mobile breach, I've lost count. There have been, I think, 6 major data breaches at T-Mobile in the last year or two. But I'd have to, again, the news just broke as I was coming down here today. The two-factor authentication often is tied with a smartphone. So what do the cyber criminals do? They compromise the cell phone carriers because then they can hijack your smartphone and therefore hijack the two-factor authentication many times that people are using on their smartphones. So is two-factor authentication important? Yes, but it's part of an approach to how you're changing how you're interacting with your bank or how your business is authenticating you to your system.
Okay, it seems to me that banks are doing better at catching fraud than anybody else is. Am I right about that, or is that not a correct statement? Because I'll get an email from them or a call from them saying, hey, were you in Italy on this date and this date? And the answer is no, and boom.
I think, so that's your credit card company.
Yes.
Okay, so let's be more,
Oh,
precision
I'm sorry.
matters.
Yes, there you go.
Precision matters
Yes.
here. So the credit card companies are doing a better job. The good thing about the credit card companies is they can see your patterns of behavior. They can see that, oh, you stopped to get a coffee at a cafe that's just down the street from where we are right now. And then all of a sudden, and they see it's at certain times of the day that you're always getting that coffee. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, Sam's buying coffee in Paris at 10 p.m. at night. Wait a minute, that's completely out of the norm for Sam's behavior. And so now we have software that looks at that and then can send you a message. So the credit card companies have done a good job with that, but that's because they have an enormous amount of information about your patterns, your spending patterns and your location patterns. And again, I don't want to say that it's bad what the credit card companies do, but of course they make errors. So my bride will go down with me. I do business down with clients down in Las Vegas. And my wife will come with me, and all of a sudden her credit card won't work because they don't see her regularly down in Las Vegas. They see me down there, my credit card will work, her credit card won't work because we're together. The system doesn't know that we're together. So yes, it's better, but it's because they can see those patterns.
One of the things that's surprising to me, because my wife and I do a lot of international travel, it used to be that you would call into your credit cards and debit cards to the companies and let them know what your itinerary was going to be. Now most of them say, no, we don't need to know that, which surprises me.
Yeah, I think you're right. I wonder whether that's about their lack of staffing. I don't know why they don't
Really?
I'm speculating here. Because I would think that they would want to know, hey, if I could call, if my wife could call the credit card company and say, I'm going to be down for the week with my husband in Las Vegas, then that would make them more efficient. I'm speculating that that's why not. Something I want to look into. That's a really good question.
Okay.
Why they're not doing that more often.
Social Security numbers. It seems like, you go to the doctor's office, there are lots of places where, to be honest, a lot of them are not that careful about hiding that number. Is that a scary thing for you when you realize that is the identifying number for everybody in the United States?
So it does, but here's a scarier one in my opinion. And I think everybody that is watching this or listening to this, when you call for a medical appointment or you call to ask a question on your health insurance, they say, what's your name? John Doe, what's your date of birth? And then you tell them, and then they give you all the information. Like, well, that date of birth, people announce their birthdays. They at a business, if you turn on the radio and there's a host there, they go, oh, it's someone's birthday, and they bring in a birthday cake, or they do it on television. You've been on television,
Sure.
right? Your birthday's announced on live television, Sam. I'm sure. That to me is a more worrying trend. It's healthcare that does it the most. Name and date of birth. That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts.
So that concerns you more than Social Security?
It does, because it's so pervasive, and it allows access into when someone can, we call that pretexting. They claim to be Ira Victor, but they're someone else, and then they call into my health insurance and they find information about me. Now they can launch escalate. We call it a lily pad attack. They can use one piece of information to get more information, to then steal or get to my clients or do something even really malicious. And we see a lot of these lily pad accounts.
One of the things that has been terrific and scary at the same time is Customs and Border Patrol. If you use global entry, when you come into the country, they do a retina scan. And there's a computer screen right next to the retina scan, and you see all your information come up as they swipe your eyeballs. Is this a good thing or a bad thing in your opinion?
I think that any time that you're exposing, you're giving little pieces of information that people who aren't authorized to see it, that's risky. And so I think that is, I wasn't aware of that. I haven't noticed that. I haven't done international traveling since before COVID. So I haven't noticed that on global entry.
You used to have to do fingerprints.
Yes.
And they don't make you do I don't know about every location, but at the major airports I've been in, it's no longer fingerprints, it's just a retinal scan, and that gets you all the way through to the final officer who just waves you through.
And then, but you can see the information of other
passengers? I can see the information of mine popping up on that screen. I mean, my point, I guess, was that with just a retinal scan, that amount of information, it pops up on somebody's computer screen. I don't know who else could be able to get a shot of that.
So I'd have two concerns. One is someone else seeing it that's behind you. Also, how secure is that data link that's pulling that up? So if a bad guy can access that data link and steal that information in larger scale, that's a concern. So again, it's about the process that's used to protect all this information, not just a piece of equipment.
All right, so a personal story here. So it's about a year ago now. One of my larger clients from my advertising agency side of my business, they get an email from my bookkeeper saying, please don't send the checks to this account anymore, or to our address. Please send them to this account. And and do it faster. So they emailed me a couple of times asking me if this was from me, because they happened to be a very good payer, and they were kind of shocked that I would ask for anything to be quicker. I never received the emails. They finally called me and said, did you send this, or did your bookkeeper send this email? No. It turns out that somebody had hacked into our bookkeeping system and had read all of the invoices, seen all of the information, and then had blocked our incoming email from receiving emails from that company. Now, thankfully, and I give all praise to GoDaddy, they did a fabulous job in about 24 hours of cleaning this whole mess up, but that was unreal.
So that's going on in large scale all over the country. So that's what I mean by, you've now illustrated a lily pad attack. You get a little piece of information, which gets you to some more information, which gets you some more information, and now you can craft an attack. And you were fortunate. I'm so glad that you have business relationships with people that will pick up the phone and call you, and not just rely on an email. And if there's one of the most important things about anyone that's listening or watching this right now, that is, an email is so easy to forge. It is not a sealed FedEx envelope. An email is like a message on a billboard that drives down Las Vegas Strip on a Friday night.
Yes.
Okay? It is not secure. It is easy to forge. In less than 60 seconds, I could forge an email that says I'm you. And the recipient would think that it's coming from you. And the email was never built with security in mind. Same with text. Texting was never built with security in mind. These are great. These communication methods are great, but you need to understand the risks here. And when you get an email from someone that's asking you to do something that you have to reveal your information or change something about someone else, pick up the phone. I know it's getting so unpopular these days to actually make a phone call. Good news is it's free. right? You can call around the
Relatively
world
speaking.
for free. It's
Yeah.
free, as in like free beer. It's free. Pick up the phone and call someone and ask for the person that sent it and said, did you send this to me? When did you send this to me? Look for the clues, and you'll know pretty quickly, hey, that's the person we're used to doing business with. They'll tell you, no, we never sent you that email. But yeah, that is a lily pad attack that's going on all over the country. This is what I mean about process. So there's no piece of equipment, there's no two-factor authentication or whatever the next Ark of the Covenant that some tech company is going to say is the cure to all of our security ills. There is no such thing. It's about process more than it is about equipment.
I got a call that was claiming to be from my bank and concerned about fraud. And they wanted to verify some information with me. And the first couple were pretty simple. And then they asked for the social security number, and that's when I hung up.
Excellent.
And then called the bank, and they said no. And then canceled all my cards and sent me new ones.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think, the average person would think you're getting a call from your bank, they're checking up to make sure your security is safe, and actually they're attacking you.
So here's the thing to remember. When anybody calls you, a business, something personal, and they call you and they say, oh, hey, Sally Smith, yes. So this is, we're from X entity, and we've got these questions for you. You go, okay. And then they ask you questions that they should know. Like, well, what's your account number? Like, well, you called me. Don't you know my account number? If you're from this bank, if you're from the IRS, if you're from law enforcement, if you're from, Nevada Newsmakers, your staff would call me. So, well, don't you know this information already? How would you know to call me if you didn't know this information? And then they'll get belligerent. If they don't hang up on you, they'll get belligerent. I know, because that's what I do.
Right.
I toy with them. So, oh, great, so glad you called. I know they're fake. Well, wait a minute. How did you know my phone number if you don't know my account number? Most of the time they hang up, or they'll get belligerent with me. They'll actually use expletives and foul language, and they'll get belligerent with me because they're getting paid to defraud people. I'm breaking that model, that scheme that they want. So yeah, don't believe it. Be skeptical. Notice I said before, use the phone. You use the phone to call the number that you know is good, that's on your paper statement, that's well known. You use that number to initiate the call to them. But when someone initiates a call to you and you don't know them, now you're back to, it's just like a fraudulent email, it's just like a fraudulent text. It could be anyone we call this pretexting, under some pretext, pretending to be someone that they're not. Be skeptical, don't trust them.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with Ira Victor after this timeout.
The casino industry drove Nevada's economy for decades. By the 1990s, however, the state's sole industry was in sharp decline. Many were losing their homes, many were leaving the state. Is Reno on track to be the Detroit of the West? Was an October 2010 Reno Gazette-Journal headline. Nevada knew it was time for a change and a time to diversify. Story County took that lead, took risks, invested tens of millions transforming its desert into a place of opportunity and a future for Nevada families needing something new. That desert now provides thousands of high-paying tech, advanced manufacturing, and energy careers at companies like Tesla, Panasonic, Google, Switch, and Redwood Materials. Story County transformed Northern Nevada forever, and the tide of opportunity has raised all vessels through construction contracts, high-paying careers, and the power of payroll. Tens of millions have been generated in sales and property tax, permits, and other revenues for Reno, Sparks, Washoe County, and for all of Nevada. Enough, in fact, to generate a surplus after public services are provided. And best of all, a sustainable economic climate has been created, enabling our children to stay in Nevada and live prosperous lives in their home state. Story County, improving Northern Nevada one industry at a time.
Located in the heart of Carson City, the Bank Saloon is a historic watering hole with a modern feel. With a variety of classic cocktails featuring Nevada spirits, space for private events, conferences, and an incredible atmosphere, the Bank Saloon offers a great location to work and play. Come visit us. Located at the corner of 5th and Carson, we'll save you a drink.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Ira Victor. He's the Chief Forensic Analyst with DiscoveryTechnician.com. Let's talk about the Nevada law that has a law that can help protect businesses from litigation and loss due to cyber attacks.
All right, so there's along with all the cyber attacks that we're seeing is lots of litigation that result when people lose money or have damages of some sort. And one of the many issues is that even if you're a business or an individual that sends a message to someone and that person falls victim to a cyber attack, nothing to do with your communications with them, businesses are being sued just because they have a business relationship with another business that was a victim of cybercrime. So I worked with Senator Ganser here in Nevada in the 2019 session. I was a subject matter expert for her, and we put in legislation in NRS 603A.210 that establishes what the state of Nevada considers being responsible in a business protecting data security and privacy. It defines that with a standard called the Center for Internet Security Controls. It's a nonprofit organization, so anyone can download the standard. And when you use that standard, and then some bad event happens, because it's happening all over the place, you, as a business or some sort of organization or an individual, you can insulate yourself from those types of very expensive litigation, because you say, hey, we weren't negligent. We were properly handling our data. Nevada was, I believe, the second state in the country to adopt this approach. Now it is in statute in other states around the country, and a growing movement. This is the, as far as I know, the most pervasive standard in the country for insulating someone or a business from this expensive litigation. And Nevada was really a leader in having this kind of legislation on the books.
All right.
And it's about process, Sam. It's, again, not about buying some bunch of IT equipment. That's not the focus. It's about changing one's process to reduce the likelihood of data breaches, data thefts, ransomware, and other cybercrime activities that hurt privacy and security.
Okay, so if somebody wants to know more about it, where do they go to find out?
C like Charlie, I like India, security.org. CIsecurity.org. You have to give them your name, but they do not put you on a spam list. Full disclosure, they have me as an ambassador to the standard. But they won't spam you, but you will just get a link where you can download the standard and a whole bunch of materials on how you implement the standard. And research has shown that when you use this standard, you reduce the likelihood of all the bad things I just talked about by in excess of 80%. That's pretty good.
That's a pretty good number. We'll be right back.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Ira Victor. Electric cars and theft.
Yeah, so all cars. This is about all cars.
All cars.
All cars are vulnerable to an attack. Well, all new cars that have what's called control area networks. So the modern cars today, electric, gasoline, are basically a computer cart or computers on a cart with wheels. And so attackers have figured out a way to penetrate the network, most commonly by popping the headlight and plugging into the car area network like you would a local area network. You send a signal to the car that says, the key is good, unlock the doors, start the motor, the driver's ready to go. And they can steal the car in less than 5 minutes. This is not theory, this is happening. This is the same issue. This is about the car makers putting good security process into their vehicles rather than relying on just a key message.
Oh my, we'll have to talk more about this. Ira Victor, always a pleasure to have you on the program, even though you always scare the heck out of me. Love you. Thank you, sir.
Good to be here.
And we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerauer, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
Our thanks to the Bank Saloon in Carson City and the Builders Alliance for their help with our coverage of the 2023 legislative session. We'll see you on the next broadcast.